All right, guys, we're back.
We're back. Yeah, it's actually another episode, but we're back. Whatever. Uh, let's continue the conversation we were just having for a bit, though.
Today we have a guest on the show.
We have a guest on the show.
That's right.
Yes, the McDonald's crowd.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We have the uppity black girl that works at McDonald's as our special guest star. And I think I just heard every black viewer hitting back on their browser. I'm sorry, I don't mean it. I don't mean it, I swear. At least I'm not making jokes about how you can't swim. Teddy. Okay.
Well, you know, it's actually like, I'm like the only one here right now, so that's just a crew, and they're like, how far away they are. Sound travels really well here. Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop. I promise.
Banging stuff around. Why are you with the fry fucking baskets? You know.
So what we was talking about a second ago is that there needs to be a Bill Cosby biopic, and
yeah,
trying to figure out who could play him. I say Jamie Foxx.
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. Nah,
Bill Cosby.
He's got
See that?
his balls are always in a clench. His voice is too high.
I don't know. Fuck it, Eddie Murphy.
Okay, that I could see.
Yeah, I could.
Boy, that'd be awesome. Eddie Murphy does a dramatic role. Has he ever done a dramatic movie?
Dramatic as in serious, or as dramatic as in God, this is fucking over the top?
Dramatic as in a serious movie. I don't think he's ever been in a serious movie.
Okay.
I don't think
There was a sort of attempt to make the Vampire in Brooklyn not a funny movie, right? Eddie Murphy wanted a Vampire in Brooklyn to be more like straight up scary, because it was Wes Craven working on that, right?
Oh, wow.
But they had to throw in some funny stuff. They had to. They just had to.
Because
he had to. Yeah. Because it's Eddie Murphy. Yeah. You expect it.
He's one of the only comedic actors I can think of that's never even tried to be in a serious movie, though. Like, well, I mean, you just said he tried, but never succeeded, I guess.
Well, he tried in production while they're making the movie, but it didn't. They released it as, you know, comedy was promoted. You know, even like what's his name? I fucking forgot his name. Belushi, right?
Yeah.
He didn't really make that many movies before he died, but at least one of them was an attempt at a serious drama.
Jerry Lewis was in a serious movie called The Day the Clown Died.
Oh, yeah. Jerry Lewis has been in a lot of serious stuff.
Jim Carrey has made several kind of bad movies.
Oh, yeah, he's had some good serious movies and some bad serious movies.
What did you guys think of the number 27? I thought that movie was okay.
Number 23.
23, yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. I liked it. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
It wasn't as bad as people made it out to be.
It was a little generic for the time.
Yeah, I guess. But I was hearing people just like, you know how people are. It's the worst movie ever.
No, it's not even the worst Jim Carrey movie.
No.
In fact, Jim Carrey.
You guys ever seen the movie 1408?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. I forget who was the main character. John Cusack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bad movie in my opinion.
That was pretty bad. He was just in a room. The room was haunted.
It wasn't just a hotel. It was just a room.
I don't
Yeah,
even,
but get this. Think about it, Mark. Right? Room 1408. Right? Think about it.
that's a reference to something, isn't it?
Well, sort of. It's technically the 13th floor, right?
Right.
Because buildings leave out the 13th floor, so the 14th floor is the 13th floor, right?
I thought that was a myth and they don't actually do that.
No, I never see a 13th floor.
Really?
Yep.
I don't think I've ever been in a building tall enough to have a 13th floor.
Well, they do it. Just
I mean,
nobody wants to be on the 13th floor, and nobody wants to be there.
well, I mean, it's not like if the 13th floor catches fire, the 14th and 12th isn't.
Well, no, but people are stupid.
Yeah, people are superstitious.
Yeah.
But 14, I don't know. It seems like it's a reference to that Disney number, but that's probably a different number.
Yeah, and he also found out that the room was also originally 1313.
No.
Yeah, because the 08 was it's like half of 14, and it was yeah.
We're off topic like hell, but has anybody seen what the fuck was that horror movie that came out a couple years ago? It had a really, 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 really bad ending. It was about possession.
I don't even know.
The Devil Inside. Have either of you seen The Devil Inside?
Nah, didn't see that one.
Oh my god, man. You need to see it. You need to see just how, you need to see the cinematic whiplash the movie gives you. Because the ending literally comes out of nowhere.
You ever seen the movie Devil? I think it was M. Night Shyamalan
Movie.
Yeah, in the elevator.
I've only seen a review of it. I've never seen the movie. I don't watch Shyamalan's movies.
I saw the Nostalgia Critic video.
Yeah, that's my full knowledge of it.
That's which is fine. I feel like I saw the movie. I don't need to see the movie.
I've only seen a couple of Shyamalan's movies. I've seen Unbroken, I've seen The Happening, and I've seen fucking that Last Airbender movie.
No Sixth Sense?
No, I've never seen The Sixth Sense. I've never wanted to because I've always known the twist.
Oh, yeah.
Though, okay, to be fair, I knew the twist going into the movie Orphan, and that made the movie better.
I saw Sixth Sense knowing the twist. It makes it interesting.
I'll give it a watch sometime.
Because Bruce Willis is walking around and it's like, wow, okay, all right, I get it. Because you know already, right?
I've never seen The Village. Is that what it was called?
The what?
The Village. Wasn't that the name of the movie he did?
Village. I guess you missed The Village. Signs.
Yeah, I never watched Signs.
And Lady in the Water.
Oh, I forgot about Lady in the fucking Water. Yes, I've seen that one.
Oh, you saw that one?
I saw that.
That one I think's worse than The Happening. That's worse than The Happening.
I still have no idea what happened in that movie. That was one of the most confusing movies I've ever seen.
Mermaid Lady was saved by the guy who works out half his body from invisible wolves that were trying to eat her.
Man, that doesn't help. Because I know
that's simple. It's very simple.
But the movie, the whole movie, I was like, is this supposed to all be real, or are they all supposed to be, crazy? Because the place almost comes off as a mental asylum.
Yeah, this apartment building is populated by crazy people. Eccentrics, right?
Yeah, like we said, the dude who's got the ultimate jack-off arm.
And the guy who's like a screenwriter.
gotta
he
be
was
honest.
kind of like, yeah, he was M. Night himself, right?
I gotta be honest. The only thing I remember is the guy with the half-strong body and the mermaid in the rolls. And
And that chick, that's the redhead chick. Everybody's favorite redhead chick right now.
really,
She's in everything. She's in Jurassic World. She was she took over Claire Danes' role in the Terminator Salvation.
oh,
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about now. Okay,
yeah, she's like the wife of John Connor.
yeah.
Yeah, John
Well,
Connor's got a wife.
we should probably jump on topic now.
Star Trek.
The remaining 6 Star Trek movies.
Now here's the thing. We can compare the first movies to something, but we can't compare the other movies to anything.
Not really. I mean, I can't think of any other space saga series or anything that's even remotely related to this that had a 6-movie run.
I mean, yeah. There aren't many things that were like a TV show and then a movie and then a spin-off TV show that got its own movie.
And
And-
they're all kind of bad.
And the idea was that hopefully they would lead to Deep Space Nine movies. Like that would happen. They thought it would, though.
Deep Space Nine is the only series I never watched.
Yeah, well, they wanted to make movies out of that, too.
That's not true. I forgot about the original series, but I watched Voyager, I watched Enterprise, I watched TNG. I never watched Deep Space Nine.
You watched Enterprise?
I watched like the first 4 episodes and I stopped.
See, because I would never make it through the opening credits on that show.
Oh God,
You know what I'm talking about, those opening credits.
no one's gonna bend or rape me. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like country music and shots of like the Wright brothers.
It's been a long walk. We're getting from there to here.
Yeah, they're showing like the progression of like flight and then space travel, and then they make up some history that never existed. Oh, like what? Wait, what's happening?
Maybe
like,
they insert a couple shots from First Contact of the
right.
of the Phoenix ship.
Well,
taking.
Actually, when I saw First Contact, I was a big Star Trek nerd at the time, and I knew what the ship looked like already.
I
It's
love
historical.
I loved the new ship in First Contact,
The first ship.
the Enterprise E.
No, the Cochrane ship.
Cochrane's. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The guy who invented warp drive in First Contact, right?
Yeah, who was played by the ultimate fat guy actor,
The guy from Babe.
James Cromwell. I actually know his name.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
He's
That's
the
his name.
ultimate. He's the ultimate that guy actor. Most people don't know what the hell his name is, but they know that actor. He's that guy.
Yeah, he was in LA Confidential.
Kind of like that dude who played the guy who was supposed to be Shredder, but they changed it to where he's not Shredder in the new Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that guy. He's still that guy.
Yeah, he is still that guy. I have no idea what his name is.
Nobody know. I have no idea what his name is.
But
Who the fuck that guy?
I've seen him in so many movies, though.
Even if I look it up, I'm still just going to be like, oh, okay, and then forget it tomorrow.
Yeah. So, fuck it. Well, to get to First Contact, we have to first talk about Generation.
Yes.
And Generation
Alright.
is widely considered to be a turd.
I consider it one of the worst.
Yeah.
It's very.
But
Very
what's
bad.
so bad about the movie is the question.
I got like a top 10 of
Top 10.
reasons why it sucks.
All right.
I mean, number one is Kirk dying, but there's so many levels of that. Like, why did he leave the Nexus? Well, why did he? I mean, how he get caught in the Nexus in the first place?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole his death after he gets out of the Nexus. He's fighting Malcolm McDowell and he falls off a fucking bridge. He looks terrible. He looks fat. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's only reason number one.
Okay.
Reason number two is the terrible way that Next Generation was kind of ham-fisted into the plot. It's just like, stick it in there. And then Data? Oh, Data.
Your voice suddenly became the voice of God.
Was it echoey or something?
Yeah.
Super echoey.
Not echoey, man.
Echo, 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 echo.
You got special powers, though, to bring up Data.
Yeah, Data.
So, is this reason number 3?
Yeah, at least. Because he gets his emotion chip, and it's stupid.
It is stupid, and they say something in this movie about the emotion chip, like, fusing into part of his brain and it can't be removed. But in later movies...
It can't be turned off either.
Yeah, but in later movies he can turn it off and remove it.
Yep. Because they were like, skip that, it's stupid.
And... yeah, the emotion chip, it's just it's a silly concept, an emotion chip.
I mean, it was kind of incorporated into the plot because he got scared when Geordi got, like, kidnapped.
Well, yeah, but before that, he was using his fucking tricorder as a puppet and laughing so hard that his face was contorting.
Oh, yeah, there was morphing. They stretched his face a little bit, like, what?
And not enough to where it's creepy, just enough to make you go, what the fuck was that?
I don't know. It's not on my end. It's quiet in here.
But, okay, continue, sorry. Your next reason?
Oh, I could just keep going on and on. It's crazy. It's really bad. It's really, really bad.
Is there anything you like about the movie?
Okay, Lursa and B'Etor were the Klingon chicks, and like I guess that's their death. That's something. They were characters from the show, and I guess that they died. They got blown the fuck up. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I didn't see the episodes with them, so I didn't know who they were. But they do get kind of just killed off, like tie off in a neat bow. They're going to try to attack the Enterprise with the fucking old-ass bird of prey. That battle... We're always quoting Red Letter Media, and I feel like we're just stating their ideas, but once again, they pointed something out that they didn't need to get very complicated with their counterattack. They could have just opened all fucking weapons and fired and destroyed that bird of prey.
Yeah.
Because that's like a 200-year-old ship design at this point, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Something like that.
And it's the Federation flagship. In the modern era, it would annihilate the fucking bird of prey. But
and it's out of scale too, really, in the movie if you think about it, because the Next Generation Enterprise is really much larger than the original Enterprise.
Yes, it is. The next one, quite a bit, even more so.
Well, think about it like this: the Enterprise had a crew of about 112, right?
Uh-huh.
The Next Generation Enterprise is about 1,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like a yacht versus a fucking cruise ship, right?
Yeah.
The Enterprise is like a cruise ship, which is interesting because there was like a Saturday Night Live routine when Patrick Stewart came on the show and he was Captain Stubing, and it was too perfect. It was like, well, he's too perfect, him as Captain Stubing. And Geordi was kind of Isaac, right, the bartender, and he was like, "Hey," with the visor, and it was like, yeah.
You know, I'm trying to think of moments for each of the characters in Generations, and the only one I'm drawing a complete blank on is Worf. I don't remember Worf getting to do anything in this movie other than when the Klingon ship started firing at them, he was the one that came up with the overly elaborate plot to stop it.
Yep, they didn't feature the crew very well. I mean, Riker didn't do shit. Geordi got kidnapped, and then they brought him back. And that was it.
Riker got the ship destroyed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Counselor Troy crashed the ship into a planet.
Yes.
Geordi
took
got
the helm for the first time.
Geordi got kidnapped. Data is incompetent because he put an emotion chip in his head and it fucked him up.
Yep.
And I think there's a couple other important cast members that just aren't included. Oh, Dr. Crusher. I don't remember her doing anything here, other than getting pushed into the water by Data.
She's never done anything in any of the movies. She had one in the Borg one. She activates the hologram thing, and that's it. That's the only thing I remember from any of the movies. You know,
because they had to give Robert Picardo a cameo.
I mean, why? Yeah, she really got left on the cutting room floor, I think.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, she didn't get much. But then again, she never had many episodes that were her episodes either.
That's
on
true.
the TV show.
Yeah, guys, sorry I'm so quiet. I don't really know much about the Star Trek movies for the new ones up until the two newest ones, because it's been years since I've seen them.
Well, keep on with your bad stuff, and we'll dissect them for you.
What are you playing on the
Dead Island.
PlayStation?
Yeah, PlayStation 3.
He's playing a Japanese porn game.
Okay.
He's currently...
You're playing a Star Trek game. You have any Star Trek games?
I didn't even know they actually even made any Star Trek games for the newer systems.
Last time I played one was back in the fucking Super Nintendo.
I used to have one for N64 and Super Nintendo. Then my brother had one for Sega, I think.
Yeah, they had a Deep Space Nine game. But I don't even know.
I have a decent...
They made anything.
I have a decent ship battle game for Star Trek on my PC.
Every time I hear Deep Space Nine, I just imagine some kind of porno.
You don't know the half of it.
Deep Space Nine actually has the first ever lesbian kiss on television. Yep. Because that Trill character, right? The Trill character. Like,
Star Trek's got 2 under its belt then, because it also did the first generation kiss.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Kirk kissing Uhura, right?
Yeah.
And there was a letter that Uhura got, right, from some guy who back in the '60s, some Southern guy who was like, I don't agree with the mixing of the races, but when you got a red-blooded man like Captain Kirk, and he's going to kiss a girl like you, I don't believe he would be resisting. It was like, yeah,
I remember the common joke back in the day, according to my aunt and my grandmother. If it wasn't, it's the reason why people liked shit from back then was, oh look, it's Captain effing Kirk. Why is it so good? It's Captain Kirk.
Yeah, Captain Kirk could do it.
So there's no redeeming qualities to Generations, not even Malcolm McDowell.
Nope, he's pretty much wasted in that movie. I don't even know what he's doing.
He does. There's a quote from the movie he really, really liked. He got it emblazoned onto a fucking a pocket watch. That
really?
Line, that line, "Time is the fire in which we burn."
Wow.
It is a pretty... He really liked that line. He's a weird actor.
Yeah.
This is not the worst movie Malcolm McDowell has ever done.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Cyborg 3. He was in the Tank Girl.
Caligula.
Oh yeah. A lot of terrible movies.
I love Caligula. Thank you, Cinema Snob, for introducing me to Caligula.
Caligula.
I didn't even know anything about him historically. That movie got me into Caligula and the Julian Dynasty because they were
seeing it advertised in old Playboy magazines.
The first 5 Roman emperors were like all crazy to different extents.
Yeah.
The two that stand out the most being Caligula and Nero. Yes, I'm giving a small history lesson on our podcast. For all of you who want some history that's actually an interesting read about Emperor Caligula and then read about Emperor Nero, and you'll read some interesting shit.
Nero set Rome on fire because he was fucking crazy or some shit.
I think so.
It's debated if he did catch Rome on fire or not, but he is the one who rebuilt it the way we know it today.
He was also the Antichrist.
Yes. There's quite a few indications that the entire book of Revelations is supposed to be an allegory for the rule of Emperor Nero, because Emperor Nero used the Christians as a scapegoat for the fire of Rome.
Of course. Sounds good.
He also invented furry bondage.
It would also tie in with the revelations about cities burning and shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you do one of those goddamn mathematical things they like to do with names, he's one of those names that comes out 666. Somehow. I'm not going to find out how.
Fucking Nero.
So I guess let's move on to the next one.
Math is the devil.
The next one is what I consider the best TNG movie, and a lot of people agree with that. First Contact.
First Contact with the Borg.
In a lot of ways, it's the Wrath of Khan of this series. It's the jump back.
Yeah.
It's not as big
with
of
the villain from the show. Villain from the show, right?
Yeah. It's not as big of a jump back, but it is still quite a jump back because while Generations is boring, stupid, and confusing, First Contact's plot is actually kind of easy to follow.
Even though it doesn't make any sense, I don't even know why time travel has to be thrown in there.
Well, I kind of like the idea of the Borg using time travel for assimilation, but the implications of it kind of fuck up the rest of the Star Trek universe for everything that happens after. Because you're like, wow, the Borg have time travel now. That's like the worst thing that could ever happen.
Right. They could Yeah.
Theoretically, they could just assimilate the entire galaxy now.
See, honestly, a lot of my I rethought about. I liked First Contact pretty well, but the Plinkett video had me rethinking about it, and a lot of what I'm thinking about is based on the Plinkett video, not the last time I saw the movie.
I've seen the movie since seeing the Plinkett review of it, and I still like it. It's got moments that live on after you see the movie, like Captain Picard's freak out.
Right.
No! Smash! I was rolling on the fucking floor when they did that in South Park. In the middle of the South Park episode, I can't remember what the context was, but Randy freaks the fuck out about something, and they actually used the sound clip from the movie. And it was funnier than fuck because I remembered it, and I was like, hell yeah! I thought I was the only one that noticed how great that moment was.
Yeah, I like a lot of the movie, but
I like Borg Queen.
Sure. And while it doesn't make sense for the Borg, I don't care. It's cool.
I think it makes perfect sense for the Borg because they've always worked like an insect colony.
Yeah, more like a collective that's more mechanical than any kind of living creature you can compare it to. You know what I mean?
But I always assumed there was an overarching will to the fucking their drive, like, you know, an overmind, something that fucking was at the head of all of it.
A master mold.
Yeah. A lot of people, there's been a theory for quite some time that the Borg are the result of Beeger. I think there might be a couple books that say that, but I thought about it myself, and I was like, well, yeah, I guess that's possible. Maybe.
Part of what it learned when it went back to its master was that you need to assimilate living things to learn about.
And yeah, Captain Kirk says we just witnessed the birth of a new species. So, well, that could have been the Borg. But I do like the Borg Queen. I think she's an interesting idea, and the shot where, like, she's coming down and she's only the upper part of her body, and they drop her into that fucking, basically a chasis for her to walk around in.
Well, the thing about it is they come from a distant part of the universe, right? And it's implied that Whoopi Goldberg knows something about them, right?
They come from the Delta Quadrant.
Right. Way out there, past where we've ever been before, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, Whoopi Goldberg knows about them.
For some reason.
Whoopi Goldberg knows everything.
True that.
She really does in Star Trek.
Right, she's some mystical
thing.
Cosmic something.
Yeah, something that the fourth dimensional beings, the Q, fear. To the point of, like, I think threatening to destroy the ship just because she's on it.
Right.
I'm going to say that I'm disappointed that Q has never been in a movie.
Yeah.
I was hoping that maybe the one that's coming out, well, it is called Beyond.
Right. But how would they do Q?
I don't know, but a good writer could do some good shit with a Q.
They could make a Q, not the Q. John Delancey.
Oh, come on. You know you'd like to see John Delancey come back.
Sure, but I don't see how it's possible. He doesn't look anything like he used to.
Well, it's okay. He decided to be old. That's literally the explanation they can give, though. He literally just decided he wanted to be older because Q can do that, and they do strange things to amuse themselves.
I guess that I'll always like the show better than the movies for a lot of reasons, and that's one of them. I can imagine that being an episode, but not a movie. You know?
He made for good episodes. He was in the first episode, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Encounter at Farpoint.
Funny, Gene Roddenberry, who was so against the idea of there being a god in Star Trek, allowed that to happen. I think it was even his idea.
Well, his idea was that they're beings of cosmic power, but no single god. What we think they're gods, but no. There's just more and more advanced races and shit.
Yeah, but they're everything we consider a god to be. They're omnipotent, omnipowerful, and omnipresent.
Sure.
But back to the movie.
Which one? The First Contact? That's what we're on?
The movie has a lot of good stuff in it. Like, stuff that Plinkett didn't mention in his review. I personally like the scene where Counselor Troy is having to drink with fucking... what's it? Cochran. He has to drink with Cochran, and, like, he got her fucking smashed. And she's like, I had to drink, like, 5 shots of something called tequila and keep his hands off me all night just to find out who he is. And Riker has to deal with drunk her and drunk him, and he's like dancing around and hammered. He's like, this is the good stuff, and he drinks it and it tastes like shit. He's like, that wasn't so good. And he throws a full bottle.
Right.
I love that he's up drinking and partying directly after that camp got attacked. And he's the only guy in the bar, if you look.
Right, and I like how they incorporate Star Trek into the dialogue.
Yeah, you're astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
Right. Like no other movies had the balls to do that.
That's actually a funny moment, too, because they're telling him the whole story and trying to find the Enterprise on a telescope, and he's just like, bullshit. And then they're like, look. And he looks through the telescope, and it's a completely silent, flat shot of the Enterprise just floating in orbit. And he's just like, oh. Well, fuck me.
Huh. That's crazy.
They're actually telling the truth. Fuck, I'm too drunk for this.
Right. And I guess that was during the more recent history of humanity where things weren't going so well, because they mentioned on Star Trek that things got worse before they got better, right, on Earth.
Yeah, I think the movie is taking place like at the ass end of World War III.
Right, which I think is interesting that Gene Roddenberry sees a bright future, but he's like, yeah, but shit's gonna get worse. Right now, shit's gonna get real bad. But,
Well,
I mean...
in Star Trek, there's like 2 major wars before it gets better. There's the eugenics wars, and then the Third World War.
Well, then they have the war where their soldiers are like inmates controlled with drugs. Their minds are like under control, right?
That's fucked up.
It is fucked up. All the soldiers are inmates that are like, and they showed what they look like. Actually, it was in one of the Q episodes.
Oh.
He showed him like some of humanity's history. Like, he's like, when your soldiers were actually inmates, all controlled with mind control drugs and stuff like that.
He was a dick about that.
Yeah, and he's like, we've evolved a lot since then. I mean, even in the last episode of Star Trek, Q's kind of mocking the humanity because they started off in this little puddle of goo. Like,
I remember that. Yeah, he takes Picard to the beginning of life on Earth.
Yep. Because some crack in time had gone back in time and interrupted that little cellular division that was supposed to happen in that little puddle of goo.
Yeah, it was like a tachyon cloud. It was something that was going backwards through time and getting bigger the further back it went.
Right.
So, how about the action in First Contact? Because there's a lot more action in this than there is in any other one, except for the Abrams movies.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff.
I thoroughly enjoyed the action stuff because I think that they improved on the Borg in the movie.
They
from the
made
TV
them a
show.
lot. They made them a lot scarier.
Yeah, now they can, like, Kirk's like, don't let them touch you. Don't let them touch you. Like, they can just touch you and turn you into a Borg. They're like space zombies for real.
That scared the shit out of me as a little kid. Those two little tubes that pop out of their hands.
Yeah, what the fuck's up with that?
They're injecting them with nanomachines.
Yeah, they could just come out of their hands. They just touch you, and the tubes from their wrists go into your neck or something.
Yeah, and the fucking nanomachines flow through your blood and start changing you. They're injecting it directly into the carotid artery.
And that's weird. That was not on their show.
It wasn't?
No. That
Oh.
wasn't. Yeah. Well, I mean, they grab Picard. They turn him into a Borg. I guess they like poke him in the neck when they grab him, but they pretty much teleport in, grab him, and like leave.
And
We don't see his transformation.
which led to the biggest case of television blue balls the show ever provided at the end of that episode. Because the next episode was the next season, and the first part ends on a dramatic note, like either the Enterprise is about to be destroyed or this cube is about to be destroyed. And then a year later, we finally get the new episode, and whatever they were planning didn't work, and both ships survived, and the bold cube flies away.
Yep. I don't remember what happened in the second episode of that, but that was the episode. That was the episode heard around the world. That was when Next Generation finally became huge. Huge. Because the first couple seasons, they were like, okay, yeah, but it's never going to be as big or as good as the original Star Trek show.
Let me have my turn. And I get to heat up your pizza.
Bitch, I'm busy doing a podcast. Fucking throw a pizza in the oven for me before I snap your freaking neck.
Alright. Yes! I'm dealing with a bunch of bitch anyways.
He got whipped. Anyway, a lot of people consider Next Gen to be better.
Yeah, and that's why it was more successful. It ran for longer. You know.
There's a lot more stuff based on Next Gen, I think.
Yep. But that's when it happened. After that, when people saw that was the way that season 3, I think it was, ended. And then everyone was like, oh, shit! By the time season 4 started up, there was already a bunch of people watching the show. It was getting bigger. Because there were reruns playing all summer. You know.
The funny thing is that everything that this movie sets up about the Borg, like literally every single thing, is picked up in Voyager and resolved there, and nobody liked or watched Voyager.
No, and part of that was a problem with the UPN network at the time. They weren't as widely distributed, you know.
I watched Voyager. I mean, it was the only thing on to watch at that time, so I watched it a lot. And it wasn't really all that bad. It was just like, you can tell that the writers kept switching.
I wanted to watch the thing, but I couldn't because it wasn't available in my area.
It's kind of the same thing as what people say about Deep Space Nine. You got to get a couple seasons into it before it starts getting good.
And that was the case with Next Generation as well.
The show, I thought, got a lot better after they replaced the one chick with the Borg chick.
Neelix's girlfriend.
Yeah, she became something intangible. and they replaced her with 7 of 9, a woman who was basically a Borg from childhood.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that, but I wasn't like watching.
In her case, it's not like Picard, where she just goes back to being human. They disconnect her from the collective, and she wants to be put back in the collective because she doesn't know how to be an individual.
Because she was born like that or something, right?
She wasn't born like that. She was assimilated when she was like 8.
Okay.
But the Borg Queen comes back, and like I think they actually destroy the Borg in Voyager.
Mm.
I'm not sure. I seem to remember them infecting the whole collective with a virus or something.
Yeah.
And
They gotta do something on that. Voyager had to set themselves apart somehow, you know.
They introduced a new species that like even the Borg are afraid of. Like
Really?
they're willing to make alliances with Voyager to deal with this other species. I think they're called Species 409.
Really? What do you call it?
Species 409. They're like these fucking monster things. But the Borg fear them. So Janeway is essentially a pirate all throughout Voyager. She's a terrible, terrible, terrible breaker of the whole Federation rules thing. But she keeps her fucking crew alive.
Because she's a hard ass bitch. She's Captain Judge Judy.
Well, when the way the show is set up, the conflict, the overarching conflict of the show is that they got fucking stuck in a space slingshot and launched 50 years into the fucking Delta Quadrant. So they're in the middle of fucking nowhere in uncharted space. And they gotta make it back.
Right.
And the trip, initially, they calculate it's gonna take like 50 or 70 years. So she has to deal with shit that Picard and Kirk never had to deal with.
So we're still on the... What movie are we on right now?
We're still talking about First Contact, I guess, but there ain't a whole lot more to say about it.
Yeah, we like it. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
In spite of what we've heard.
Yeah, I've used to watch it 10,000 times, and I like the little shit out of it.
What you're about is the Star Trek Insurrection. The hell is
Yeah.
that?
Hold on a second.
Got an echo going on.
Teddy's evil clone tried to come in again.
Yep.
There you go. Got it. That fixed.
So then the next thing we talk about is fucking Star Trek goddamn motherfucking Insurrection.
So you think that's the worst one, huh?
That movie is a turd. Even before the internet existed and everybody was bending my fucking viewpoint with their viewpoint, I hated Insurrection. Like, I didn't give a fuck what happened to these space hippies. And I didn't give a fuck about the villain, and I didn't give a fuck about the gas, and I didn't give a fuck about anything else.
Well, I've heard that's the best one from Star Trek fans because it is the most like a Star Trek episode.
Well, that fan is wrong, and he should be ashamed of himself for thinking that. It is the most like an episode. It's the most like a boring, forgettable filler episode.
Right, and not like a one of those dramatic episodes that you enjoy watching over and over again.
It's like a boring two-parter episode, and that's appropriate because it's the most boring, forgettable fucking movie in the fucking whole thing. Because
I think there's a plot very similar to that from the fucking show.
there is. They were Indians.
Well, yeah, the one that Mr. Plinkett was talking about, but there's another one that's even more accurate. Where one of the natives gets injured and they have to take him on board the Enterprise. Right.
I think something like this. Didn't something like this happen in almost all the series, though? I think I remember.
Yeah.
I think I
Very
remember
familiar.
like this happening in Voyager at least twice.
And that's kind of why you probably won't see the J.J. Abrams series do the TV show plot. It sucks for a movie.
Doesn't everything that happens count as a violation of the Prime Directive?
Oh, absolutely. All of it.
But does it? Because they explain they know about positronics and warp, so do they count? Like they don't have warp capabilities, but they could if they wanted to.
Right, they're Amish.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
They keep talking about how they don't use machines while showing machines. Primitive machines, but machines nonetheless. Irrigation systems, plows, machines. I think the writer of the movie didn't really know what the definition of machine was.
Well, technically, a lever and a wheel is a machine. Right? So,
it is. That's the point. The dude's exact line is, when you create a machine to replace the work of a man, you diminish the man or something. And that is contradicted quite a few times.
Yeah, it is. People are stupid.
And they all wear browns and beige.
Browns and beige. Earth tones. Browns and beige.
They're all going to wear earth.
Yeah, they suck.
They live on a planet. And
well, I can't say it's the worst, just because nothing really stands out in my head from the movie at all. Not good memories, not bad memories. It's not highly stupid.
But that's what makes it the worst one.
Yeah, but there's nothing there to piss me off. It's just like an episode of the show.
I guess. What do you think is the worst? 6? Or not 6, Wrath of Shinzon.
Generations is pretty bad.
I don't.
Even
what the
highlights?
Nemesis. I called it Wrath of Shinzon, fully thinking it was called Wrath of Shinzon.
Nemesis is the one that had Tom Hardy as Picard's clone.
I know.
Right. And he should have had a fake mask.
This movie's villain was a waste of an actor again. F. Murray Abraham as Ruafo or something.
Yep, he's terrible.
Has anybody seen Amadeus? F. Murray Abraham can act his ass off.
Yeah, but strangely enough, he's really not been in many movies other than Amadeus.
He was in Scarface.
Yeah, but that wasn't a very good part, was it?
No, it was memorable. Who were you in that movie? I was the guy who got the shit beaten out of him and then hanged from a flying helicopter.
Well, and he was one of many white actors playing Latino.
I know. Why has that movie has like completely flown under the radar of people who bitch about stuff like that?
Robert Loggia. I'm Robert Loggia.
Playing.
And I'm apparently Latino. Like
what was his name in it? Diaz? No. It was Frank something.
We're way off topic.
We are. But F. Murray Abraham in this movie is a terrible villain with terrible motivations. You know what? No.
What is that about? I know the other people are like immortal. They're really old, but they look young.
Eddie, wait. I just realized something about this movie.
What?
They essentially have the exact same plan as the Spaceballs. They do. They're flying a fucking giant, basically air sucker up to a planet to suck out its atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's just not a Mega Maid, but it would have been so much better with a Mega Maid.
Right. Well, they do. That is a big vacuum that sucks up sucks up the planet basically, or the air and.
I don't even get what the conflict is. Like, I don't know if he sucks up all the air, the gas in the air. Will they die, or will they just start aging?
Aging normally, I believe. Yeah.
Well, fuck them then, immortal scum.
Oh, wait a minute. There are children there. There
Yeah.
are children. Are these eternal children? They're not eternal children.
No, they say that they don't start they don't start being immortal until they become mature. And you would think that that would mean there'd be a lot of eternal 18-year-olds around, but there isn't. It's just children and people in their apparent late 30s. But
I think a chick might have been in her 40s.
Inevitably, the entire crust of that planet is going to be composed of bodies. Not because they're dead, but because they're immortal and producing more immortals. It will eventually lead to a new layer of people on the planet. Wriggling, but never dying.
And I don't know why it's such a noble thing to let these fucking white people have this, like, immortal power. Right?
Because white lives matter, man.
It's because they're white.
Right. Because the plan is to take the energy and use it to benefit all of mankind. And Picard's like, no, there's this hot chick on the planet. She needs it. She's getting it.
They're hogging the cure for death.
There's a chick down there. She's the hottest chick on the planet. I've looked around. It's a fact.
The only reason Picard wants to help him. The only reason Picard wants to help him is because she wants to fuck him. And
Yes.
okay, realistically, do they have to suck up the whole atmosphere? Can't they build like a cloud city kind of deal?
Just mine it a little bit at a time and use it.
Yeah.
That's not villainous.
It doesn't have to be villainous, though. And
It does. It does. It must be villainous.
This movie also falls into a Star Trek stereotype that the Admiral is always evil.
Yes.
Except
Admiral,
for
he's Picard.
every fucking Admiral we've seen in Star Trek has been an asshole. Except Kirk.
Almost across the board.
Has there ever been a good Admiral? I was being serious when I said every one of them. I don't think there's ever been a good guy Admiral.
I can't recall any.
In the new movie, the fucking Admiral is like the main villain besides Khan.
Yeah, and in all the movies too. Whenever we see them, if they're not out in space doing something, if there's any kind of politics, all the admirals are bad. And wait, that's something we didn't mention. In fucking Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country.
What's that?
That, all the political characters, right? You mentioned Worf was a Klingon in the movie, right?
Yeah.
But the president of the world, remember?
Yes, he was Red Foreman.
It was right, Red Foreman with the crazy-looking Ric Flair hair and a Fu Manchu mustache.
Yep.
Some kind of alien forehead, but he wasn't Vulcan or Klingon.
And then 6 movies later, RoboCop was the bad guy. I'm drawing parallels because he's the guy who shot RoboCop. Remember? What was his name in that movie?
Red Foreman, you mean?
Yeah, he was the bad guy in the first RoboCop.
Bodig.
Yes, Boddick. Clarence Boddicker.
Right.
Right.
But that's another thing, though, because the other bad guy, he works for Dick Jones, right? Roddy, what's his name? Dick Jones. What's the actor's name? He was also in Total Recall.
Fuck, I don't know. That's another bad guy.
Ronnie Cox.
Ronnie Cox.
Yeah, he was also an admiral on Star Trek.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that the Federation perpetrator of all the fucking spy shit in Star Trek 6 was an admiral, was he not?
Yeah, pretty much. I think, actually, that he was a good admiral. Ronnie
Really?
Cox showed up on a couple episodes, and he was always a good guy. He was always talking to Picard. There was a conflict. He was like, "Hey, what's up, Picard? What you need?"
Voyager had a rebellious Q. Actually,
Really?
Voyager had two new things for the Q. First, there was the Q who wanted to die because it's the only thing a Q can't do, and Q has a child with a Q named Q, and he wanted to have a child with Janeway.
Oh yeah, I do too.
And Janeway was awesome. Okay, her bun of power was the source of all her magical captaining abilities.
She was the Judge Judy of outer space.
She wasn't Judge Judy. Judge Judy's a cunt. Janeway.
I like watching Judge Judy just because I like seeing her make an ass of herself.
I like Judge Judy in that, kind of Simon Cowell, Gordon Ramsay kind of way.
I don't like any of those people.
I like it when they make people feel like dickheads.
Dude,
You're
if I was on Hell's Kitchen, I would have fucking beat him upside the head with a frying pan by the end of it.
Somebody almost did. One of the guys just didn't react to his fucking talking. Oh man, he's dropped.
There's no amount of money in the world you can give me to let some fucking uppity British motherfucker scream in my face.
Sorry,
Honestly, I wouldn't be able to handle it. I'd probably end up punching him in the face.
I would throw boiling oil on him. Fuck him. I can cook.
I have no desire to be a line order cook at all, ever.
Either.
I don't want anybody yelling at me. Not Gordon Ramsay. Not just some random guy in a greasy fucking apron.
So we're really sitting through these movies, but there really isn't anything else to say about Insurrection, is there? It just sucks.
Fuck no.
It's boring, it's forgettable, and you shouldn't watch it.
It's even I don't think it's all that bad, but certainly not very good.
So
it is like a long episode.
So then Nemesis, the other movie that I've heard people call the worst.
And it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
It has been it's been a really long time since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I do remember Tom Hardy. I'll give him that. He's the only guy I remember from the movie. And he does leave an impression, and I never would have guessed that later down the road that I would be such a big fan of his.
It was in the theater. It came out around 2002 and hit the theaters the same fucking time fucking Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and fucking James Bond came out.
Oh, that didn't help, did it? Nope.
Yeah, that's a hard weekend to open.
Oh shit, yeah.
Especially
which
Towers.
Which James Bond though?
Die Another Day, I think.
Oh, that one sucks.
But still, it was a big money maker. It was very popular.
That's the one with the invisible car, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, people hated that one.
That was the one in the snow.
Yeah.
That's the one where he's obviously CG surfing on icebergs
And it
and
looks
stuff.
terrible.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was really
It
bad.
looks like a Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah, so with the fact that it came out around that time, it was basically doomed for failure from the start.
It is the first Star Trek movie to introduce the my dick is bigger than yours giant ships. Which has
Well, it was also the first time that they broke out a Star Trek truck.
I like that thing. It doesn't serve any functional purpose other than
Yeah, because they had a space shuttle right there.
but it looked
shuttle
fun.
train.
I'm sure it was a fun scene to film.
Sure.
I
And
really
you get big guys there, and the big guys from the Next Generation movies are Kirk, Data, and Worf.
Yep.
Even though I like how Plinkett points out that there's no reason for Worf to be in any of the movie. You know,
No, it's not. This character has moved on to other things at this point.
right? He's on the Deep Space Nine. He was doing stuff. There was no reason for him to be in any of the Star Trek movies, except there he is.
We didn't mention that in the last movie, Evil Data happens.
No, Evil Data happened in this movie, Nemesis.
It happened in the last one too. At the beginning, they
Where he glitches and something.
yeah, he goes into murder mode, and they stop him with a fucking song. I don't remember what the name of the song is. The SS Pinnifer.
Didn't he also appear in the regular series as well before the movies?
Yeah, there's Evil Data has been done several times. There's an actual Evil Data named Lore.
Right. Which is weird because the whole concept was that Lore and Data were the only ones, and then in Nemesis, yet another Data shows up.
Well, this one's supposed to be the prototype for the other two.
But how the fuck does he end up with it? And,
I don't know. That's a good fucking question.
And he lays it there as a trap. But it's a stupid trap because they're supposed to get out of the trap. Like the guys ambush them when they find the parts, but they're supposed to get away.
We're going to drop an android in pieces on a random nowhere planet and just hope that the Enterprise goes by and picks up the positronics.
Right, and they're not buried at all. They're just laying there, open desert on the ground.
In the middle of nowhere. Like, it's a nowhere planet. And they put him back together, and what is it? His name's B4, isn't it?
B4.
Yeah, and
And
he's
his
like...
voice says, down to it. They've
He's
altered it a
basically-
little bit to give it.
Your microphone's cutting out.
Me?
It's better. I can hear you.
Yeah, that's better.
He's all digital sounding, right? And he's like Forrest Gump, Data.
Yeah, he's basically Data with a mental disability.
He's not as smart as Data at all. And it almost seemed like at the end of that movie they wanted to make another movie.
Yeah, like he's the new Data.
Right, like, yeah, well, now we're set to have yet another Data movie. Like, it was not a conclusion at all.
I didn't like that Data died, and I didn't like how he died. I don't know. I get that they were trying to get like the big emotional impact that they had when Spock died, but
That's all they were doing right there.
Spock's death scene was way more emotional than Data's, because Data is all alone when he dies. Spock dies with like his best friend on the other side of a glass, so fucking close to him, but he can't do anything to save him because he's already fucked, basically.
Yeah.
Data jumps over to another ship and shoots the core, and boom, it's, day is won. I forget, did they crash the Empire? The Empire. Did they crash the Enterprise into the ship, or does that happen in the Abrams movie?
I believe it happens in both.
Does it? Okay.
And they're both basically disabled at the end of Nemesis, though. They're both like ripped open, but their shield is pretty much the only thing holding them together.
Yeah, seeing people get blown out into space and shit, that's pretty fucking cool, I guess. The shot of Data jumping out of the Enterprise to the other ship is actually pretty cool. Another thing this movie fails on is that the Remans are I guess, okay, I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan in the world. I didn't see every episode of TNG. I don't know how much people were anticipating this, but this movie is the reveal of what Remans look like. And they're big, scary monsters played by Ron Perlman.
Oh, is he playing the creature?
He's playing the main one, yes.
I didn't even know that.
The one with, like, psychic powers.
Didn't even know that.
Apparently, up to this point, we had never, ever, ever seen what a Reman looked like. And this was their big reveal. Huh?
Never even heard of a Reman before that.
Well, I mean, there's Romulus and Remus because, for some reason, an alien race named their planets Romulus and Remus. And Vulcan.
If they were referred to, I didn't really understand that.
And it also made the Romulans into slavers, which is something my cousin hates about the movie because apparently they weren't slavers up to that point. And somehow this slave that works in their mining facility builds a gigantic fuck-all ship that's capable of, like, destroying planets, and I don't remember how, but I know it can fuck up a whole planet. Because their goal is to get to Earth, because for some reason he wants to destroy Earth. I think it's because they left him to die, and he's going to fire a big green laser at them that's going to do something. I think it turns them into ash. Like the thing in the beginning of the movie.
That was something else at the beginning of the movie, and nothing really makes any sense when you add it all up. You know what I mean? That whole attacking the Romulan Council thing.
How long has it been since either of you have seen it?
Since it came out, honestly, like in 2002.
Oh, wow. It's kind of the same for me.
What, Star Trek Enterprise?
Nemesis.
Oh, that one.
Because I'm trying to remember if Tom Hardy gives a decent performance or not.
He gives a fine performance. It's not bad. It's not great, though. I don't know. Adequate.
He was a bad idea for a villain. A Picard clone that's created for something I don't even... Wait a minute. The Federation didn't create Shinzon, the Romulans did. So why does he want to destroy Earth?
He's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy, right.
That's as far as they got. They really didn't finish that whole thought. He had some kind of terminal disease.
Yeah.
And he needed Picard's blood to fix himself.
Which is
terminal disease.
Which is stupid.
He doesn't do either. He doesn't do it. He gets Picard's blood, but he doesn't do the procedure.
And the Reman keeps reminding him that he needs to do it, and he keeps ignoring him.
It's like, lady, I have to blow up Earth first.
And then he pulls a sword through his own guts.
Well, I mean, it's. I understood that he wanted to destroy the other Picard because he wanted to be the only Picard.
He's kind of like Liquid Snake from Metal Gear.
That is.
He's so pissed off that he's a clone. He's so pissed off that he's a clone, and he wants to be the one. He wants to replace the clone or the guy.
Is that the idea?
Yeah, basically. He wants.
Maybe I didn't get that part.
I remember they said they were going to replace him with the real Picard, and I don't remember the reason why.
but it didn't work out because, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
Kind of
know.
hard. It's kind of hard to talk about a movie I haven't seen since like 2010.
Well, you're not missing anything, really. It's really pretty simple and stupid.
Yeah, it's the darkest movie.
It's pretty bleak, but at the same time, it's about on the level with Search for Spock.
It's trying really hard to be Wrath of Khan, though.
If First Contact is the Wrath of Khan, then this is the movie that really wants to be Search for Spock.
Well,
Because, I mean, First Contact is still the most successful of the Next Generation films.
I thought Voyage Home was.
Of the Next Generation films.
And Nemesis is the lowest grossing of all of them.
Yep.
Yes.
But
nobody cared at that point. You know?
Once again, somebody gets mind raped. This one's a lot less subtle.
Yeah, and I think that Marina Sirtis actually might have liked that.
I think Marina Sirtis didn't want to be there from the second movie on.
She always carries herself like she's too good to be at the conventions when she
Yeah.
goes to paint.
She has kind of a bitchy attitude and a resting bitch face.
And she's married to some other guy, and Riker is married. But whenever they're on the panel, she's all like running her fingers through his hair and shit.
Oh my!
I'm like, what's going on? I'm sure Jonathan Frakes is just like, always trying to make me as uncomfortable as possible, aren't you? Like, but he carries it off. I think that guy, Riker, he's up there with David Hasselhoff in my mind. He is an awesome, fucking manly TV actor guy, and he's one of the best.
Did you just say that David Hasselhoff is awesome?
He is pretty fucking awesome.
Oh man, I never disagree with you.
Baywatch, Knight Rider. He's and America's Got Talent. You're the only guy up there I like. Fuck Howie Mandel.
I like
Fuck Howie Mandel. Fuck Sharon Osbourne. I don't like her either. The only person I can really relate to is David Hasselhoff. You know what I mean?
Hasselhoff was part of one of my favorite scenes from the movie Euro Trip.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen Euro Trip? You have?
Yep.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. I really love Euro Trip. That's one of my favorite comedy movies. My absolute...
And David Hasselhoff with SpongeBob. He was in the SpongeBob movie, making fun of himself.
Yeah, I did.
Like a guy willing to make fun of himself. You gotta like that, right?
I never watched SpongeBob or the movie of SpongeBob.
Oh, I did. Finance kids, but that's another story.
I know I'm an odd one out on that, but everybody...
Fucking SpongeBob movie is great. I'll tell you that. There's so much to love. There's a couple moments in there where you almost feel a couple tears well up. You're like, oh my god, I can't believe it. Am I going to cry at the SpongeBob movie? And then the movie made funnier for even having a little bit of the feels.
I am willing to bet you $100 that SpongeBob cannot make me well up.
And then there's a musical number. I'm a goofy goober. Great. I love that sequence. That's fantastic.
In the soundtrack, I know that.
The Goofy Goober, you know that song?
Nope.
I just want the parody of "I Want to Rock."
Oh.
I'm a goofy goober. I want to rock. Yeah. Which, yeah. I guess it is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. But yeah. I thought it was another song.
Is there anything else to say about Nemesis, or do we step into?
No. We stopped talking about that a while ago on our own. Like, yep.
So guess it's time to
So
step
they had Tom Hardy right in the palm of the hand, right? Superstar of tomorrow. Total waste. Totally wasted it.
But I guess that means it's time to step into the Abrams universe.
Yep.
And this
Time
is
to step into the Abrams universe. But
this is
first,
where people are divided as far as whether or not this shit even counts as Star Trek.
I like them.
oh, it totally does. But first, how many years was it between Nemesis and Star Trek?
7.
7, yes.
Wow. So during that time, what was Enterprise still on?
If it was on its way out.
Enterprise, the whole thing with Nemesis failing basically caused Enterprise to be canceled.
No, Enterprise caused itself to be canceled. Trust me on that one.
I would know. He's telling the truth.
Enterprise.
I'm the one who actually watched the entire season of Star Trek Enterprise.
Enterprise had one thing going for it: a really sexy Vulcan chick.
And a reason for her in like the first episode or two, right?
She was the fat material of the show, and
they put in there a reason for her to get naked within the first couple episodes.
Right? Yeah, and she got naked quite a bit.
Yeah, I remember that.
Star Trek Generations had alien strippers in the first episode.
What? Which one?
Enterprise. It had strippers in the first episode, like alien, completely body painted strippers.
And they had William Shatner as a cameo as one of the prisoners of those chicks.
I absolutely didn't catch that. I did not know that.
I don't even remember that. I mean, yeah. I remember I saw the first episode. I just don't remember it at all.
Actually, when the show first started, it was just called Enterprise. And they had to tack on the Star Trek name later because not enough people even realized it was a Star Trek show. Because the look... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The look, the style, and the feel of it wasn't Star Trek.
Yeah. The opening credits was not Star Trek. I first couple episodes I was lost telling who was who. They all look the same.
Uniforms were really bland too.
The crew was just a bunch of guys in the blue. They all wore the same jumpsuits. They all had the same haircut, and I was just like, fucking fuck.
The last,
and the chick got back.
The last episode of Enterprise I watched, one of the crew members became the first human male in history to become pregnant. He grew a nipple on his wrist.
Oh. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
He got a little too familiar with a fucking alien that reproduces through touch.
All right.
Yeah, that's when I stopped. I was like, well, fuck this then. Abrams, on the other hand, decided let's turn Star Trek...
What? Oh, what else happened in that time? When did Galaxy Quest come out?
Oh, that was in the 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was like around the same time Mars Attacks came out.
So, actually, J.J. Abrams says that he was heavily influenced by Galaxy Quest. So that's kind of important.
He was also influenced by Star Wars.
Oh, well, clearly, yes. But, he says that Galaxy Quest is his favorite Star Trek movie. I think that counts as own, too.
That's the problem, though. It seems like it's made by someone who doesn't particularly give a shit about Star Trek.
See, that's just...
What, Galaxy Quest or the Abrams movies?
The Abrams movie.
Abrams himself, practically.
They seem to take influence from everything but Star Trek.
I don't know, the whole thing with Into Darkness and the first Abrams
movie...
Well,
the thing of it is, Abrams...
The storylines for those movies are basically just rehashes of former movies and shit.
That's not what I mean. What I mean is that Star Trek has always tried its hardest to be a very scientifically accurate series. And that's where all the technobabble comes from. But in the new movies, basic scientific fucking things that a lot of people, I would say most people, understand happen on screen like they would in a stupid space flick. Shit that is just not possible, like the Enterprise in Into Darkness being next to the moon, the engine's dying, and it falling to Earth. That's not how that works. And anybody with a basic understanding of gravity knows that you're not going to fall in space. You're certainly not going to fall to Earth when you're fucking as far away as the moon is. You're just going to drift. You're either going to orbit the moon or you're going to fucking start orbiting the Earth, but you're not going to fall.
But it was so heavy.
But no, the reason why I don't dog on Abrams, he first ran an article, but he did say in order to produce a good movie of it, he had to do his research in order to produce
You know the messed up part about it? The whole first Abrams film? People dog on it all the time, but it had Academy Award nominations and shit, although the only one it won was for makeup and design and shit, but still, if it was that bad and it got nominated for Academy Awards, then I don't really know what the fuck to consider a bad movie.
As far as I'm considered, I can wipe my ass with an Academy Award for all I care, because I don't give a shit about the Academy Award. The Academy Award isn't selected by fans. It isn't selected by, like, popular fucking opinion. It's selected by a group of elite fucking people who, yeah, this gets the Oscar. And sometimes the Oscar is given away in a, like, okay, I'm not saying Heath Ledger didn't deserve his Oscar for the Joker, but I am going to say he was up against Robert Downey Jr. for playing a blackface character in fucking Tropic Thunder. And I, to this day, do not understand how he got an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor for that character, because not only did I hate that movie, but really, you really honestly expect me to believe that you're going to give an Oscar to a white guy playing a blackface character. That's not going to happen. It's not going.
All right. Yes, it's unprecedented. It's bizarre. Robert Downey Jr. Blackface, right? In this day and age,
it just seemed like it seemed like he got that nomination so like when Ledger, we all knew he was going to get the Oscar. It would just seem more real, I guess, because the competition. Oh yeah, he totally blew these guys out of the water.
You know one good actor that I like that's never won an Oscar?
Sean Connery.
Huh?
I was gonna say Sean Connery.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, he's working on it.
John, we do not speak of his name.
What? He's a good actor. He has good movies.
He's an excellent actor.
I think it'd be funny, though, is if he never won a fucking Oscar, and then they make a documentary about his life, and then the guy playing Leonardo DiCaprio wins an Oscar for playing in a movie about a guy who never won an Oscar.
I think he'll win an Oscar sooner or later. God knows he's fucking trying.
He's never going to stop making good movies. In fact, his next movie is going to be really good. The movie after that's going to be really good. The movie after that is going to be really good. You know
I will admit, though, when his movies do come out, it's almost like he's trying to almost portray Steven Spielberg in his own way.
What?
Just think about the amount of time for each movie that comes out that he makes.
I'm trying to figure out there's this movie he's in that I'm trying to... Fuck, what was that movie? I don't know, we're off topic. I'll find it and fucking...
Yeah, we are way off topic.
We haven't even really talked about this movie at all. We started talking about Abrams. And okay, all right. The first one isn't as bad as the second one, and it's not J.J. Abrams' fault. It's the writers of the script's fault, and the writers of the script are just not that good of writers. And they've wrote...
And you wonder why...
Star Trek had me at Tiberius.
Had what?
Star Trek, it had me at Tiberius. When Kirk's dad is talking to his mom about his name on the ship's flying in to, it's going to be destroyed. That movie had me.
The first one, like I said, it's nowhere near as bad as the second one. I actually like the
first one is basically just a rehash of Nemesis, though.
No, it's not.
Abrams, the first one, Star Trek.
Well, okay.
One with the kids and stuff.
Yeah, it kind of.
They start off as kids. We see Kirk. We see Spock.
He means a guy with a giant fuck all ship trying to destroy Earth with a super weapon.
Yeah. Oh, why didn't they even bring Eric Bana until later in the movie? You know what I mean? That's kind of like the villain that shows up in Spider-Man.
Wait, that was Eric Bana?
Like it's an afterthought. It's almost always an afterthought, and now it's kind of the joke within itself. Is that the villain in Star Trek is an afterthought?
It's the whole thing with the Abrams film is that they're supposed to be set in an alternate reality. At least that's what he said. The reason for the younger versions of the characters are and shit.
The explanation.
That's fine with me.
There's an explanation given for why technology is so much more advanced than it was in the original timeline, and that explanation is that Borg technology got sucked through a time hole and they studied it.
You mean Terminator 2 it?
Yeah, basically. And that's why everything is so much more advanced, because it really, really, really is.
From the future.
Yeah, it's like the Star Trek universe currently seems to be more technologically advanced than the next-gen universe, especially in the second one when they introduced that fucking Dreadnought class.
Well, what about the Borg being from Vega?
Yeah, whatever. I don't think the writers thought that hard.
Well, because if the Borg are from Vega and the timeline has been changed way before the motion picture even happened, then what? Can the Borg show up in this universe at all?
I'm wondering if the next movie is going to be about V'ger.
Vega, that's beyond. Yeah, it's Vega.
That'd be terrible.
Vega shows up and it's like, why?
Can you imagine?
We did Khan, which is Vega, or
I think it cut out.
Huh.
Can you imagine if they tried to make another V'ger movie in the same style as the original one?
Yeah.
Like they made the next Star Trek movie really slow and visual.
Okay, I'm back. Okay. So the Klingons.
The Blingons.
Right. We've seen a little bit of them in the J.J. Abrams movie, but they're like wearing masks or something?
And another plot hole. The Klingons shouldn't look like that.
Or should they? Or what? We have not resolved that question.
They underwent some kind of change and grew those head ridges sometime after the original series wrapped up. Because originally they're basically space Mongolian.
Yeah, but even on Next Generation, they which was it Deep Space Nine where they went on to the original show?
Yes.
Well, on Next Generation, they talked about ancient Klingon warriors, right? And they showed them looking Klingon, not with normal foreheads.
Yeah, but at the time, in the timeline, Klingons don't have forehead ridges during the original series.
But when they did grow forehead ridges, it also changed all their history so that all of their historical figures also had ridges.
I guess.
They went back and changed all the statues that are on the Klingon homeworld. Like,
I don't know. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense. They've already decided the Gorn don't look like they did on the show.
Well, that's not hard to believe.
And I mean, the going, are going to look like big lizards, right? That's no, it's not a guy in a rubber suit with like glitter eyeballs. Uh, so
So what are
no,
we
I
talking
mean,
about now?
We're talking about the first Star
what the
Trek
Klingons going to
movie.
look like? Which Klingons are we talking about in the J.J. Abrams universe? Do they have the ridges on the forehead?
They do, because they showed them in Into Darkness.
And they had ridges on the forehead.
They pierce their ridges now.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why I call them Blingons.
okay.
They have crazy facial piercings. But
All right.
that's in the second movie. This one's about Romulans and Spock fucking up because a star is apparently going to explode and destroy the entire galaxy.
The whole galaxy, not the whole galaxy.
One star, Spock says it's going to destroy the galaxy.
That's fucking retarded.
You would think that Leonard Nimoy would be smart enough to question that line.
Eh.
I mean, the whole thing with these new movies and shit, I can name like 3 or 4 other movies that, because basically the thing I didn't like about it, of having watched the former movies before this and shit, it's the fact that both fucking this one and Into Darkness basically just takes a whole bunch of crap from former movies. Like, there's the fucking part where Spock conflicting with his emotions and shit of whether or not he can have being half human and shit and all that crap. There's that whatever movie that was that we were talking
But
about.
the thing of it is,
Hold on, the fucking thing with fucking Nemesis with the fucking gigantic fucking space battle and shit. That's another part of the fucking movie that they just rehashed and shit. So, thing that I didn't like about these new movies is the fact that it had no originality. It basically just took other storylines from other Star Trek films.
That's because the general mass audience is stupid and they only want to appeal to the general mass audience, so they got to throw in things that people know.
Well, yeah.
Because,
That's why I'm afraid the new Star Wars is going to be like.
yeah, I am too. I'm afraid it's going to be 2 hours of nothing but callbacks.
Callbacks and, the new characters doing what the old characters would have done.
Yeah.
More or less. Like, wait, yeah.
And that's what both Star Treks are. They're just a reference fest. It's every chance they get, they insert something from another movie or one of the shows, like Tribbles or dialogue or fucking Klingons or.
Does it so much more smoothly than like Clash of the Titans did.
I mean, I would honestly say if they're like your first Star Trek experience and shit, they're good for what they are, but if you go back and watch the former films, either before or after watching them, you won't think that they're good. Because, I mean, when they came out and shit, I liked them, but that's because I hadn't seen Star Trek 1 through 6 until after Into Darkness came out, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, it's hard to go backwards in some things.
Yeah.
And movies with science fiction and special effects are definitely one of them. You know what I mean? That's the problem with, I think, a lot of kids who grew up with the prequel.
You still there?
I think he cut out.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that the Abrams movies are bad films. I'm just saying, like, because I saw the Abrams movies before I saw 1 through 6, but then after seeing 1 through 6 and watching the Abrams movies again, I started to realize that they're just taking a bunch of fucking shit from those movies, and it's like.
It's action schlock, and Star Trek no longer requires a brain. Because science is ignored pretty much entirely, and
I've learned if a science fiction or action movie has a lot of flashy lights and explosions, it's gonna appeal to at least some form of mass audience.
the Enterprise can take so much more damage than it used to, and it can take so many more shots than it used to, and it seems, I don't know, it's just everything looks so much more advanced than it ever has before. And I know that's because technology in the real world has gotten better, but it's Metal Gear syndrome. You've got fucking Metal Gear Solid 1 through 4, and then you get these prequel games like Metal Gear Solid 5 where you see the fucking new Metal Gear that is so advanced and crazy and powerful and amazing that it makes the ones that came after it in the storyline look like junk by comparison.
So is the Phantom Pain as bad as people say it is, or?
I haven't played it yet. I just know the story, and I've seen the fucking Sahelanthropus or whatever it's called.
Well, I have no plans on playing it.
I've not heard anybody say it's bad. I've heard everybody say it's good.
I think they think what they hate about it is microtransactions, and that's what I'm mostly hearing that's bad about it is microtransactions this and that. I'm like, you do realize we're in a day and age where companies are so desperate for money that the production value costs are so damn high they need another source of income besides the amount coming from the games this.
Thing that I don't really like about it is
we have to accept this crap.
What's up?
That doesn't mean we have to accept this crap. They're trying to turn the fucking...
I don't like to accept it either, but at the same time, I understand why they do it.
They're doing it because they're trying to step us back to where we had to pay every time we wanted to play a game.
Basically. I mean, the thing I don't like about the new game is pretty much the whole huge slap in the face that they gave the fucking creator of fucking Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, that is the biggest slap in the face that I've seen.
I don't like that they cut the ending off the game.
There's multiple endings, actually.
No, I mean the actual ending. They cut the ending from the game. The resolution to the whole Liquid Snake Psycho Mantis as children thing and then making off with Sahelanthropus was cut from the final game, so everything with Liquid Snake and Psycho Mantis and Sahelanthropus basically amounts to nothing. So, thanks, Konami, for giving us a game that had the ending chopped off.
Konami's a piece of shit company right now, anyway.
Yeah, not only are they turning fucking Castlevania into a porno Panchico machine, they're apparently also doing the same to Metal Gear.
Pachinko?
Yeah, they just trademarked a Big Boss Panchico machine.
Nice.
Lovely. So back to Abrams and his polished turds. I'm being really hard on this movie. This movie isn't as bad as I'm making it out to be. It's the second one I don't like. This movie is simple as shit.
Had an appeal. The first one had an appeal because we were seeing, you can see who's the new Spock. Okay, that's a good choice. Who's the new Bones? All right, yeah, he's pretty good. And that was kind of the appeal to see the movie. Oh, you get to see how they're being all redone, right?
Yeah.
And some of them I liked, some of them I didn't. Uhura, yeah, good choice. Way to go. Chekhov, maybe not. Sulu. Okay.
Let's have Harold playing. Fuck it.
And Scotty, while I like Simon Pegg, he's not Scotty.
No, he's not Scotty. And he, I think, might be the most guilty of the callback stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of him as Scotty. I don't know. I like him, but I don't like him as Scotty. I don't know.
I don't like the guy who plays Spock.
I like him.
Oh, really? You don't like Siler?
No, he's too emotional. Way too emotional. Like, it doesn't even seem like he's struggling. It just seems like he's an emotional little...
I like what Teddy just said, because that's honestly the one place that I just remember him from as Heroes as Siler.
Right, and that's pretty much all he's been in. He hasn't done like hardly anything else.
But he
I mean,
plays
he's a
Spock.
badass in Heroes, though. So
He plays Spock as an angry, angry, angry person, and
He's
I know
gnashing his teeth a little. He's Hayden Christensening it up a bit.
I know he's supposed to be the younger, more immature Spock, but I thought Spock's whole character arc from the beginning, like from the original series and on, I thought it was that he was becoming more accepting and like in control of his human side. But the way this is done, he's always been a constant fucking boiled rage of fucking. He's just so angry. God damn. Especially in the second one when he just beats the shit out of Khan. Which I get it. That's literally the only person on the ship that could have a fist fight with Khan and survive. But man, Spock is beating the shit out of somebody and like trying to murder them. And his delivery of the shouting of Khan was not that good. They shouldn't have had that in the movie to begin with because you know it's coming, and when it comes, it feels like waiting in a firing squad for the bullets to hit you, and then it hits you, and you're like, oh.
So we're talking about Wrath of Khan now, or are we just talking about?
We're still talking about the first one. God damn it! I'm just.
Skipped all the way up into Darkness, aka Wrath of Khan.
I'm expressing my dislike of the guy who plays Spock.
So my feelings are that you think that Spock is kind of reversed.
Yes.
He's fighting his Vulcan side rather than fighting his human side.
Yes,
and the alternate universe that he claims it to be in.
And I don't care for the whole.
Is that the two J.J. Abrams movies are kind of blurred together?
I don't care for the romance between him and Uhura. That came out of nowhere.
Actually, that was supposed to be a part of the original script, and he took a look at that original script from back in the day. It was a part, and the only reason why they didn't do it was because of the controversy back then.
That's not a good argument. That's like saying Gohan was supposed to be what the fuck is he called when he's not Super Saiyan but he's really powerful? Mystic. That's like when people say Gohan is totally mystic in Battle of Gods.
I don't know, I'm just quoting from what I looked up about J.J. Abrams.
The thing funny called when he's not Super Saiyan is useless.
It makes him more emotional because now he's also in this with Uhura, and I really believe it's what fucking Plinkett said. It's because they had to give him a case of the not gays, which ironically turned out to be gay.
Yeah, but we knew he was gay before that.
I didn't know anything about him, but
yeah, they did work to make him not gay because the actor playing him was gay.
I like Carl Urban as Bones, and I like what's-his-face as Kurt, kinda. I do like Carl Urban as Bones.
Bones isn't given enough to do.
I mean, I guess the way I was able to handle the whole Spock's emotional tirade bit is the fact that, like I said before, he put it to be set off in an alternate universe, so instead of him fighting to embrace his human side and shit or whatever, it was the opposite for the fucking Abrams film. So I'm like, I don't know, whatever. I mean, if they're putting it in an alternate reality and having shit flipped around, then it makes fucking sense, I guess.
This is a really minor complaint, but I don't like Scotty's little alien thing.
I saw the walking turd.
I don't hate him. I want to know what he is so bad, and they won't tell me.
He's a piece of shit.
I really think he is. I think he's. I think Scotty pulled some crazy science shit and brought a turd to life.
Here's the thing, though, that you know, it is the Kirk and Spock show, isn't it? With the movies.
Yes, with Bones being pushed to not even third wheel.
But he was the third wheel in all the other movies.
But that's something else I don't like, okay? Because, like, Yeah, Kirk and Spock are close, but Kirk, Spock, and Bones are close.
Right,
Like,
they go on vacation together, the three of them. You know,
Bones and Spock have their moments of disagreeing with each other, but you never get the sense that, like, they're not friends.
right. There shouldn't be as much conflict between Kirk and Spock. It should be between Bones and Spock.
I like the line in Star Trek V where they're about to sing the "Row, row, row your boat," and I know that part sucks, but
I actually like that part.
I think Spock says something like, I'm trying to comprehend the meaning of the words, and he's like, "It's a song, you green-blooded Vulcan." Like, he can't come up with anything to call him, so he just like, "You fucking Vulcan."
Yeah, and he's always had a problem with his like coldness, and that should be Bones'. You know, that was how it was.
But instead of Bones, we get Uhura most of the time.
Right.
More so in the second film. God damn, these movies do blur together. It's kind of hard to talk about one at a time. So fuck it. Let's talk about both of them at the same time.
Okay, so you like the first one more than the second one.
Yes, I don't like the second one at all.
And the biggest... Okay, so what's the biggest drop-off in quality from the first one to the second one?
The absolute, complete abandonment of common logic.
That's pretty broad.
The scientific shit that doesn't make sense. The plan, Khan's plan is... Have you seen the movie yet? Did you watch it?
I did not.
Okay. Khan's plan is that they have like 73 missiles. It's exactly an odd number. And he loaded up all of the fucking other Botany Bay people into these missiles. And they're going to fire these things at him like torpedoes while he's on Kronos. They're somehow going to survive this, I think. And he's going to live with Klingons. But then his plan changes because Admiral RoboCop shows up in a gigantic dreadnought class that's actually the biggest ship, I think, in Star Trek history. It's much larger than the Enterprise E. And he's like, well, I'm going to take that. And he takes it because it just so happens to be designed to where one person can control the whole ship.
Well, that's convenient.
And the Admiral is Admiral Marcus, the father of Carol Marcus, the future mother of Kirk's child.
That's the blonde.
Yes, that's supposed to be Carol Marcus, who is inexplicably a weapons expert now.
Not the Genesis chick.
Yeah, she's not a bioengineer, she's not a geneticist, she's a weapons specialist whose job it is to take care of these torpedoes, because these torpedoes are apparently supposed to be like super high ordnance, new sciencey torpedoes. And yeah, not the Genesis device. So they go to Kronos and have a chase with some Klingons, and then Zod, god damn it, I keep wanting to call him Zod. Khan shows up and kills all the Klingons, which doesn't start a fucking intergalactic conflict. Or interstellar conflict, I guess. And...
Wait, hold on. Zod and Khan, right?
Yes.
Okay, but they were both remade recently. You know, with different actors.
If you're about to ask how did What's-His-Face do, he did fine, but he wasn't Khan.
Right. But my point is that they're getting them both confused. They were both remade recently, right?
Uh-huh.
And the original films were both in, like, early 80s, right?
Yeah.
And they both showed cleavage.
Yeah.
Both the original Zods had heavy cleavage.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Man cleavage. Zod had hairy man cleavage. And, yeah, I don't know. I'll just make it a point.
Yeah. And now they both wear...
Don't have cleavage. No cleavage in the new Zod and Khan.
Yeah, now they both wear high-necked outfits.
Right. Yeah.
What is his Benedict Cumberbatch? He's okay as Khan, but he doesn't have any of like the grace of Khan. He's just like diabolical and evil, like.
Yeah, I don't get the Cumberbatch thing. I know it's almost all based on his Sherlock Holmes TV role and stuff. That's why people love him so much.
I would compare the new Khan character more to Loki.
That's what it seems like.
He's like the guy who gets captured on purpose because he's got a plan.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen the shots of him in like a holding cell or something.
My name is Khan.
And he wants to be captured, right?
Yeah, because he wants to get onto the big dreadnought ship that he designed, because a genetically engineered super soldier from the 90s can build the largest and most powerful ship in Star Trek history.
So is he taunting the chick from the cell when the ship blows up or something?
No, I don't remember where. I think he is in the brig when the ship gets attacked by the dreadnought. But on the dreadnought, he fucking stomps her leg and breaks it, and then like crushes the admiral's head with his hands. So he dies, and then Spock tricks him. He agrees to exchange for the torpedoes, and he doesn't tell him that I took all the people out of the torpedoes. By the way, they're armed. Boom. Which I guess it's a good Spock moment. It's one of those moments where Spock bends the Vulcans don't lie thing. He's like, I didn't lie, I exaggerated.
Right.
But yeah, then all the stupid shit starts happening where a ship not even in the upper atmosphere, far beyond the upper atmosphere, will actually fall to Earth. And then it crashes into San Francisco, the Dreadnought does. And I think they saved the Enterprise at the last second. And then Kirk and Spock, the exact same situation that occurred in Wrath of Khan happens, only reversed. Like, literally the exact same situation. They need to activate the engines. The core is fucked up. So one of them goes into the extremely irradiated room and gets the reactor going at the cost of their life, while the other one shows up and talks to them on the other side of a pane of glass, and the one dies of radiation poisoning. And in this case, Spock goes, Khan!
Oh, man.
And then he goes and...
That scene.
Huh?
Putting the Khan yell at that scene is
yes,
bad.
And they completely
sad. It's not supposed to be yelling. It's a sad scene.
I think they even might have lifted almost all the dialogue from the scene from Wrath of Khan too, because Kirk says, "Is the ship out of danger?" And you have and always will be my friend. That's said, I think, and they do the thing against the glass,
yeah.
And it's not as emotional because Kirk comes back to life 15 minutes later.
Because no eulogy.
No eulogy. Khan has magic blood that will bring you back to life from radiation poisoning, at least.
Like Extremis.
Yeah, basically. It'll just cure you of whatever ails you.
Does it also make you explode?
No. Not that I know of. And Khan doesn't get killed. They put him in a freezer. So he's not dead, and neither is the rest of the crew of the Botany Bay. So they could technically bring him back for another movie if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie, it's just stupid. The whole movie, from beginning to end, doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah. Well,
I
it doesn't
really-
sound very good.
Like, especially the whole Khan designed this dreadnought. How does he know how to do this? Did they just teach him over the whiz? Are they trying to say he's so intelligent that he picked up the last, like, 400 years of technology in less than a year?
Yes.
Because I knew he was supposed to be intelligent. I didn't realize he was supposed to be that fucking intelligent.
He's super intelligent. He's more intelligent than Lex Luthor.
He's so super intelligent, he falls for a haha gotcha trick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so basically both the Abrams films are complete crap then.
He even makes the threat I could fire on the Enterprise and disable its life support and just walk onto the ship with an environmental suit and take my people. And he doesn't do that. Why doesn't he just do that? Just do it, Khan. Just do it. Don't let your dreams become dreams. Just do it.
Alright, so we agree that the movies suck, but are they the worst Star Trek films, or
Oh, God,
how
no.
would you compare them to the other ones?
Compared to the Generation movies, they're fucking great, except for First Contact.
Yeah.
What about the first 6?
No, not even close. I'd rather watch the original 6 any day than any of the 6 we just talked about.
Well, the first J.J. Abrams movie was pretty good. I thought it had some genuine moments. I think that one stands up to the other films.
Minor thing to bitch about, but in the first Abrams movie, when Little Kirk is driving the car and crashes it into a giant gorge, I live in Iowa. There are no giant gorges in Iowa.
Well, it's not the future.
I guess, but wow, something pretty wild must have happened there. I'd like to hear that story, because there's no gorges of any kind, or, like, there's just nothing like that.
Maybe a couple world wars, or maybe because, building those starships is a pretty massive undertaking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and starships
Maybe
are being built on the ground now.
Right. Well, but wouldn't it imagine that they would have just a lot of fucking strip mines? Maybe there's a gorge with a strip mine.
Maybe. Or maybe the writers just wanted to have a cool shot.
Well, yeah, or maybe it's just like, in Fatal Fury, there's a level, because you go around the world, you're in Japan, you're in Taiwan, and then it goes to America, and you're on a train riding through the desert, and you pass by Mount Rushmore. Because that's how the Japanese, that's America.
Kind of like how in Team America, every time they go somewhere, like, every landmark you've ever heard of from that country is in one spot.
Yeah, just like that.
Because they wanted to make it as stereotypical as possible. Actually, interesting note about that movie, all of the houses in Pyongyang are actually Chinese food boxes.
Yep, I saw the special features on the World Police, Team America, right?
Yep.
But they never mentioned Thunderbirds at all.
Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds.
What's Thunderbirds?
Thunderbirds is a marionette TV show.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the show. They basically took it.
Yeah. And there were some other shows made by those same guys. They made quite a few. They tried to call it like an animation technique. They called it like Dynamo.
I think I have a pretty good idea of how to figure out the quality of these 6 movies. It's the fact that we keep constantly drifting off subject. Like, way more than we did the first video, because we're having such a hard time staying on topic on these 6 movies. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
These movies are so unengaging that you can't really even talk about them.
Which ones?
All 6 of these Star Trek movies. We've had such a hard time keeping on track the whole video or the whole podcast, and that's because there just ain't shit to say about any of them.
I think that the stuff associated with it is better.
Yeah,
Star Trek Next Generation and Deep Space Nine are better than the movies that came out when those shows were on the air.
and Enterprise and Voyager were both turds.
Yeah, that was crap.
Voyager was a polished turd, in my opinion, but a turd nonetheless.
They gave themselves some room to come up with entirely new aliens, like every single episode, and that was something interesting, you know.
Yeah.
Stuff we'd never seen before with new stuff. But the universal translators always seem to work just fine.
Yeah, no shit. Even uncharted languages and shit.
And
I think Teddy
Hello?
phased out again.
So we agree that they suck then.
Yeah. Even First Contact, despite being as good as it is, I still wouldn't give it that high of a rating. They're all either mediocre or bad or just on the cusp of passable.
As for the Abrams films, I mean, the first one was good, second one was... It wasn't bad in my opinion, but it wasn't good compared to the first 6.
I don't have any faith in the third one.
not really.
Like, Star Trek Beyond, oh, that sounds exciting. That's not cliche at all.
Alright, so my question to you is, because you apparently don't like the fucking Into Darkness and shit, but... I mean, I don't personally really like it either, but if you were to compare it to the Next Generation films and shit, do you think it's better or worse than those? Because let's be honest, fucking Into Darkness is pretty much crap.
I would rather watch First Contact than either of the Abrams movies, so I'm giving it to the Next Gen movies. I would rather watch First Contact 2 times in a row.
Sorry.
I don't like them. I don't like them. And this next one isn't even going to be an Abrams movie. It's going to be someone else directing, but I think it has the same writers, so it's going to be just as stupid.
Because Abrams is too busy doing the fucking Star Wars films.
And I don't know if I'm excited for those or not because Abrams is the director. Like, it's like we said earlier, I'm worried that the movie is going to be like 90% callbacks to the other movies because they couldn't come up with any shit of their own, so they rely 100% on nostalgia. Which is basically what's selling the new Star Wars movie. It's just nostalgia for the old movies. If it was just the prequels, nobody would be excited for this shit. And, I mean, it could be good. It could be the fucking best trilogy of Star Wars. We'll see. But it's entirely possible it's going to be god awful.
I doubt it'll be the best trilogy because, I mean, compared to the first 3, there's nothing that they can do that'll top the nostalgia factor of that. But
It doesn't have
I just want it to be better than the prequel trilogy, honestly. I'll settle for that.
It doesn't have to top the nostalgia. It could be better, an objectively better movie. Everything can always be topped. But what if they're way the prequels? What if Abrams fucks up so hard that they're actually way, way worse than the prequels.
Honestly, he'd probably ruin his reputation if it's not ruined already because of Star Trek.
I've been wondering. You think they're gonna do the Disney Castle entrance?
What do you mean?
Well, like
They're most likely gonna.
up to this point, every
Most
Star
likely
Wars
not.
movie. Up to this point, every Star Wars movie has begun with that da 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 da. It's gonna be weird that that's not there, the 20th Century Fox logo. But like, are they going to do the Disney Magic Castle intro that they do in Disney movies?
I think that'd be funny and just have the fucking castle get destroyed by a fucking spaceship.
I'd
The
rather
Death
have
Star
it
shows up and just
rather have it being destroyed by the Death Star.
no, a Mickey Mouse shaped Death Star with three.
Yes, there we go.
Do they show the thing in the Marvel movies? Do they?
I
No.
don't think they do.
No. Do they show the castle in the Marvel movies?
No. It just says Marvel Studios. But this isn't being made by Marvel Studios. This is being made by Disney.
And then I don't think that they're going to do it in these movies.
Well,
I don't think
That's
It might.
a
they're
fair.
going to do it in these
He
movies
does YouTube as fair.
in the
Really? I'll have
in
to
the
link
in the
this
Marvel
channel.
movies. If they didn't do it in the Marvel movies, they're not going to do it in Star Wars.
I don't know. I think
It's funny though, just Disney Castle, happy feelings, and all of a sudden
I think they're going to transition the "When You Wish Upon a Star" into the Imperial Death March. Like it's gonna go da na 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 da 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 da.
And Mickey just flies in as a Sith Lord.
I bet there's
In the future, though, they're going to do the double branding. You know what I'm saying? Where they're going to combine Disney and Star Wars characters for real in a movie. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I wonder if Star Wars is going to appear in Kingdom Hearts.
From my
It's definitely gonna
understanding, it's not been confirmed yet, but many people are wanting it, and many people are not wanting it.
It would be really, really out of place.
just a fucking lightsaber keyblade. Because fuck it.
Well, for someone like me who's a Kingdom Hearts fan, I would prefer it being as a part of the gummy ship battles, because it makes sense, because they're going through space and everything of some sort to go to these other worlds. It makes sense to put them in those aspects and not in a world of their own.
Yeah.
I mean, I take that back. It might not seem out of place because I didn't think Tron would fit in with it, but god damn it, they figured that out.
Well,
Wait,
Tron did at one point.
Tron's in Kingdom Hearts?
Tron is like one of the
Starring
second
Kingdom Hearts
parts
2.
of the second one.
Yeah, I
Tron's in
mean,
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I
I'm
got
pretty
to
sure
it. I was
they'd
like,
be able to
oh,
make
fuck.
Star Wars work. They'd probably have to use characters like fucking Chewbacca and shit like that to...
Here's the thing: I've never seen Tron though. The reason I even know what Tron is because of South Park, because they made Moses that thing from Tron. The Master Computer something.
Master Computer Program, the MCP.
Yeah, that thing is Moses in South Park.
Yeah. I don't know. They'd be able to... I think they'd be able to make Star Wars work in Kingdom Hearts depending on how they do it. Like,
Well,
if Chewbacca would make a good fucking Kingdom Hearts-based character. Cartoon fucking Chewbacca and shit.
they have mashed together shit that I did not think would mash together very well. Damn sure didn't think Disney and Final Fantasy would work together, but they fucking proved me wrong. When I first heard about Kingdom Hearts, I thought it was the dumbest idea I'd ever heard.
A lot of people, according
The dumbest idea.
It is stupid. Don't let the actual gameplay affect your opinion of how stupid the concept is.
Okay, it's the stupidest good idea ever.
Yep.
I mean, it's
Stupidest
good enough
good
for me.
idea.
Or is it the best stupid idea ever?
It's good enough to warrant a fucking LP on my channel and shit, so I don't fucking know. It has stupid ideas to turn. It's a stupid idea that turned really good, apparently.
I never understood
Well,
why they changed
video
the
games are allowed to have stupid ideas, but not those things to be turned into movies. Kingdom Hearts the movie, you know it's gonna happen. That's gonna happen.
shouldn't happen. That would be a bad movie.
Well,
That'd
okay, get this.
that'd just be a
What,
fuck,
why
honestly.
did
You know,
John Favreau? Okay, hold on. Why did John Favreau not direct Iron Man 3?
Because the studio wouldn't let him.
Well, he wanted to work on another project. Disney pulled him away to work on this untitled movie about the magical kingdom, right? Which might have been something along the lines of Kingdom Hearts, maybe involving all the Disney universes kind of colliding in some kind of.
well, Iron Man 3 was a fucking bad film anyway, in my opinion.
Kingdom Hearts, the story of Kingdom Hearts only works because you've got an entire game to do it, and a 2-hour movie with a Kingdom Hearts story would be the worst clusterfuck ever.
You know how you do a Kingdom Hearts film? If you're gonna keep it cartoon, like if you're gonna make it a cartoon film, all you have to do is just take bits and pieces of a bunch of fucking Disney movies, mash them together, and edit them into a fucking sequence, and then just have fucking what's his face, fucking God, what is his fucking name? I'm too busy playing the fucking prequel game right now.
Sora.
Yeah, Sora.
What?
Just insert him into random bits and pieces of fucking Disney movies and shit, and there.
How about
Well,
we
see,
have...
that's the thing. John Favreau's movie didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
It didn't work out. He developed it for a while, this Magical Kingdom movie, and in that amount of time, then they turned to Brad Bird and was like, "Hey, how about Tomorrowland?" And he was like, "Okay, I'll do that." Instead, I don't know. Maybe it's still in development. Meantime, John Favreau has made some other movies, like this little movie called Chef, where he's a chef.
You guys hear that they're making another live action Jungle Book movie?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Actually, there's 2 of them coming out. One of is Disney's, and the other is Rudyard Kipling's.
Based on the book.
Based on the book, the other one's based on the Disney.
The Disney movie.
So we might get to see a movie where Mowgli kills a whole fuck ton of people.
We're also going to see a bunch more fucking Frankenstein movies. You know how many Frankensteins we're getting?
Oh, don't forget about the Transformers movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were confirmed for 3 more fucking sequels.
Oh, more actually. More than that.
Well, you know what? Everybody only has themselves to blame for that because people keep going to watch them.
I want to see that new Peter Pan movie that's coming out. Is it out already? The
Yeah,
Pan?
it is. It is.
It's pretty interesting.
With Wolverine as
Blackbeard.
not Captain Hook, but some other captain that. So Captain Hook is in there, but you know,
It's
Wolverine
a younger
is another
Captain
captain.
Peter Pan. Wolverine plays Blackbeard,
Right.
I think.
No, that's Johnny Depp.
Right, he's not Captain Hook. He's not
I
Captain.
heard they're going to like try to do a live action remake of Aladdin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they're going to
A
cast
live
him
action
as
reboot of Beauty and the Beast, a live action reboot of The Little Mermaid, I think.
You know who's playing the beauty already?
Who?
Mark.
You
know. You know.
So wait,
You know. You know.
for Aladdin, are there even enough Arab actors in Hollywood
Who's
to
playing
make
Belle?
a-
I showed you in the news. Who's playing Belle in the Beauty and the Beast? Who's playing the beauty?
I don't know.
Okay. It's the chick from Harry Potter.
Hermione Granger.
Oh, her!
Belle. Beauty and the Beast.
Okay with it. I mean,
Yeah, I like her. She's cool.
I got a big crush on her, so I'm fine with that.
They're all done with the production already. They've done filming, now they're doing all the digital whatnot.
But like,
Done.
for Aladdin though, are there even enough Arab actors in Hollywood to make an Aladdin movie?
It'll star the Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah, probably it will.
oh
Middle
god,
Eastern or something.
See, honestly, I think if they make for a live-action Aladdin film, honestly, I don't think it'll do too well because it fucking. At least I won't like it because whenever I think of Aladdin, I think of fucking Robin Williams as Genie, and if I see an Aladdin film to where the Genie isn't played by Robin Williams, then I'm automatically turned off from it.
Well, I can't imagine the live action versions of these movies are going to be as animated and cartoony as the fucking animated ones.
If they base it off the Arabian Nights story and not the Aladdin Disney story, then it might work.
I think, I don't know about critically, but financially, I'm sure they're all going to do great. Because the movie doesn't have to be good to make a fuck ton of money anymore. If it did, the Transformers movies wouldn't have 4 movies in this fucking series at this point.
Transformers works because they're giant robots and big explosions.
Yeah, but everybody who sees them seems to hate them, and yet they keep going back to watch them, which is what's making these movies all their fucking money.
I mean, I've seen them and watched them all, but I watch them online, so I don't have to pay money to a fucking shit I might not end up liking. That's what I usually do. If I like a movie and shit and it's still out in theaters, I'll watch it online first, and then I'll go pour out my money to it if I end up liking it. So
I still haven't seen the 4th Transformers movie. I'm playing on it.
It's a turd. It's better than the previous 3, in my opinion, but it's still a turd.
Yeah. That's what I figured.
The only thing
They not changed anything. They didn't change anything. Yeah, we got Mark Wahlberg. Not really changing anything, though.
that's what makes it better than the previous 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least it's not Shia LaBeouf anymore.
Yeah. Fuck Shia LaBeouf.
Big surprise,
Fuck
I think Shia LaBeouf too.
Fuck Shia LaBeouf. Do it. Do it. Josh, do it. Fuck him.
He did this thing a while back where he let people come into a room and talk shit to him. I would have pulled down my pants and shat on the table in front of him. I would.
you know,
I would.
in a 50 Shades of Grey sequel.
I don't believe it. You wouldn't have pooped the table.
I would
You
have.
might have dropped your pants and then got there and be like, "Ugh!"
Sorry, no, it's not a sequel.
And then nothing would happen. You'd have performances.
I would go in there turtle heading and make sure it was free to go.
Alright, so you know the whole fucking spoof movies like Scary Movie, all those shit?
Yeah, those used to be funny.
They're making one called 50 Shades of Black.
Let me guess. It's starring Marlon Wayans.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hard to poop on you.
He's still on about that. He won't let that go. He does not believe I would shit in front of Shia LaBeouf. You know what? I would make sure it was a beef shit,
You can't
too.
poop on you.
I
Right,
would.
you can't poop
damn it. Dude, I would eat like 6 pounds of beef and go into there with a turtle head poking out of my ass. And I would unleash a load. It would be this fucking big around, man. And I would make sure it was a beef shit because his name means thank God for beef.
Does it really?
Yes, it really does. That's what Shia LaBeouf means.
Well, you know the Lone Ranger guy?
Arnie Hammer.
Army. Yeah. His real name is Armand.
I like
Armand. And Armand Hammer. Armand Hammer. I mean, that's... Army Hammer is less... You're going to call me Army because it's slightly less than this joke name my fucking parents gave me.
Armand isn't a bad name.
Armand is a cool name. But I expect him to be like Cuban.
Yeah. Or, well,
Not Cuban.
what is Antonio Banderas?
He's a cat from Shrek.
No, I mean his nationality. What the fuck is he?
Spanish?
Yeah, some kind of Spanish.
I think he might be from Spain.
His name was Armand in Interview with the Vampire.
He might be Spanish. Like actually from Spain.
I'm going to say something controversial.
What?
Everybody who blames Twilight for ganging up vampires, actually it was Anne Rice's fault.
Right. Who wrote the Twilight? What's that chick's name?
Stephanie Meyer.
Okay. Why do you guys know that?
I don't know that. I'm begging to ask him the same question. How the hell do you know that?
I know that because I had an ex who was fucking batshit crazy about fucking Twilight, wouldn't shut up about it, so it's permanently etched into the confines of my brain.
I know it because I have willingly watched and enjoyed all 4 movies. 5 movies.
Wow. 5?
5
movies?
Technically, there's part 1 and part 2 that were what was supposed to be one movie.
Speaking of fucking Twilight and the bitch who played fucking what's-her-face, y'all remember the fucking movie Snow White and the Huntsman?
Nope.
Yep.
Apparently they have a fucking another one of those coming out too, and she's in it again too. It's just called The Huntsman. It focuses on the
Right. I actually heard she's not in it though.
She fucked the director. I don't think she's going to be in that movie.
It's just the Hunter.
I heard wrong then.
Hunter.
The Twilight movies are
not going to be in it.
The Twilight movies are enjoyably bad.
So basically, they're so bad they're good.
Yes, possibly more so than any other movie I've ever seen. They're movies comprised entirely of actors who hate their fucking lives because they're in this fucking movie. And nobody gives a shit, and they make a mockery of the source material, and it's wonderful.
I mean, that's why I didn't like him. It just, in fact, when I was watching the movie, it just seems like the actors themselves were just so fucking bored the whole time.
But it gets amusing if you watch the subtleties of their performances, especially Edward's, because Robert Pattinson hates Twilight, and by the end of it, he was doing everything he could to make Edward into just the worst kind of person. He wanted to insert lines that, like, he wanted a line after the sex scene where, you know the term pillow biter?
Yeah.
He wanted to have Edward have a line after they had sex where he goes, "I bit through all the pillows, Bella, I'm sorry." I was like, ha 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 ha! He wanted to make Edward Cullen into a pillow biter. Hell yeah.
He's known to fucking troll his fans.
He is.
Like, even doing like a sock account, like pretending to be one of them and stuff.
The funniest performance in the movie, I've said it time and time again, Michael Sheen as R.O. is just great. He's like the best vampire in the last 20 years.
Who does he play, the Michael Sheen?
Arrow, the fucking, like, the most psychotic member of the Volturi.
Oh, the fucking head of the... whatever, yeah.
The laugh. He's
Yeah.
the one that has the wacky laugh.
The one who's just, he's what I call delightfully evil.
The one that has the really fucking creepy smile and shit.
Yes. I love that performance. It's so fucking funny.
He was good, I give him that.
He's the only vampire in all of Twilight that actually seems like a vampire.
He seems like the only one in the movie that actually attempted to give a shit too. Oh wait, no. I like the three villains from the first film, especially wasn't the black guy that got his head ripped off or some shit in the first one?
I hate villains in the first one. I mean, I hate them, but I love them. I hate them because they suck, but I love them because all three performances are so terrible. Like,
I like them because
that's where the movie fell apart for me. I only watched the first Twilight movie, right? And it was like just a movie about a chick who likes a fucking vampire guy. We know he's a vampire. She has to figure it out and then whatever. And then they play baseball.
fire baseball.
And at that same time, when the villains show up. And so, like, everything happened right then. Like, whoa, wait, what did this movie just become?
The villains are the Black-Eyed Peas.
Yeah, that's what they look like.
Yeah.
And the blonde one might be the worst actor in the movie because he has exactly one note, rape face. That's all he knows how to do is pull a rape face. And actually, the redhead chick, when I first saw the second movie and they were doing the sequences with her, I was sitting there going, wait, who the fuck is she? Who is this? Is this person important? Did I miss a scene? And then, like, I got to the third movie and she was the actual focus of the movie. I'm like, who the fuck is this? I don't know who this is. I had to ask my sister. She's like, you don't remember her? She's in the first movie. I'm like, does she have any lines? I don't think she had any lines. If she did, it was only a couple.
See, I did not get into Twilight. I didn't get into Harry Potter, but I was watching Buffy during the Buffy thing.
I like Harry Potter, but
Harry Potter is a good series.
I like Harry Potter.
You didn't follow Buffy? Not any? No. Buffy.
I caught the last season of Buffy.
I like
Buffy's all right.
I didn't hate it. I caught a couple episodes here and there. I didn't hate it. I just never sat down and got into the show.
Yeah, the sad thing I remember about Buffy, though, is like the one thing that's usually remembered from is just having that fucking spin-off show with...
Right. I don't even know what that was. I never watched it.
It was...
the guy who plays in Bones?
Yeah.
David Boreanaz, otherwise known as... No, Death, and Lucifer.
Well, I mean, in the thing, you were like the two most popular characters from the show, Angel and Spike.
My favorite,
Spike, of course.
Yeah, Spike was my favorite character.
Spike went on to Angel, and there was like, yay, Spike, he's on the show, and he had kind of a dynamic with Angel that
he was a ghost, wasn't he?
A what?
Wasn't he a ghost because he died at the end of Buffy?
No, he was just a regular guy. He got better.
Of course he did.
I don't know. They both had a relationship with Buffy, and I guess Buffy was around. Buffy would show up in an Angel episode, but she wasn't around. I don't know. Something.
Here's a question for you: have either of you seen the extremely cheesy '90s Buffy movie that the series was actually based on?
Yep.
And it wasn't. It was. The only memorable thing is, well, okay. I mean, what's his name? The bad guy. The guy from Blade Runner.
I don't know. I don't remember any detail.
Rutger Hauer.
The only
Rutger Hauer.
I remember.
Rutger Hauer's the main villain. I bet he's kind of nothing. He's not very good.
The only thing I remember about that movie was the overuse of sound effects. Like every time you do a flip, it would go.
Because it came out after Addams Family, and everybody was doing that.
Oh.
And the villain just had this silly quality. Everything was silly, like Addams Family, right? And an element that wasn't originally part of it was taken out of the TV show was that when there's a vampire nearby, she can tell because she feels the cramps really bad.
Yeah.
That was taken out of the show.
Isn't that how? Isn't that how Joss Whedon burst onto the scene? Was Buffy, or was he famous for something else at this point?
Nope, not really. Not really. His script got turned into that, and then he was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And then
I got introduced to Joss Whedon through Alien Resurrection. And silenced that comment like, oh, wow.
I saw that in the theaters, very excited. I just remember, I remember the movie was mostly enjoyable, alien type action, shooting aliens, running around the hallways and stuff, right? But at some point, the movie was off the rails, and when the alien's getting sucked through the little hole in the thing, and it's like, I was just like, where am I? What's going on? What's happening?
I love Alien Resurrection. I love it.
It's so weird.
It is weird, but that's why I love it. I thoroughly enjoy that movie. I can't name any of the characters, but I love all of them.
What's that new one coming out? I think Alien. It's fucking supposed to be the sequel to Prometheus or whatever. It's supposed to be like
Isolation.
Yeah.
Paradise Lost. We're gonna call it Alien Paradise Lost.
So is it an Alien movie or what is it?
Well, it's called
again
Alien.
Prometheus, right? But it's Prometheus 2.
Paradise. The title concept for Paradise Lost.
I didn't understand how the hell Prometheus was a prequel to Alien. So I'm like, is it a Prometheus movie, Alien movie? Because that whole thing of how it's supposed to be a prequel doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
Makes sense to me. It's a space jockey from the first movie that is now called an engineer, and I think it has another name. And yeah, I think in Alien lore, they're supposed to be like arms dealers, like interstellar arms dealers, maybe. And the what the fuck? And the aliens were like a bioweapon, but that might not be true. I might have read something that was bullshit. I didn't like Prometheus though. Fuck Prometheus.
Yeah.
Prometheus is another movie that thinks I'm a fucking idiot and expects me to abandon all of my common sense. The guy with the map got lost.
That's right. And the characters aren't consistent within the context of anything.
You know why he got lost? Because he was smoking the reefer.
Right. But the one guy drinking, he gets a thing in his thing.
Yeah, a thing in his thing, which is literally all that he does with it. What is the thing? It's a black ooze that causes him to have eye parasites and turns him into a zombie.
The sad thing is that the entire crew dies. Everyone's dead. Everybody.
Except the robot and newbie rape face.
And he's like, I don't even...
Hello?
I'm still here. Pretty sure he just cut out.
I don't know. Y'all want to just end it here pretty soon then? Because we finished talking about the Star Trek shit. Are you guys content with just talking around and shit?
I'm fine with just talking. I ain't got other things to do right now.
Yeah. But no, I mean, for the Alien movies and shit, I mean, I guess I was never really into the Alien franchise. I was more of a fan of the Predator films and shit, so I don't know.
I find the first Alien movie to be really boring. I've only seen the second Alien movie once. I've only seen the third Alien movie once. I really like Alien Resurrection, which is blasphemy to most Alien fans. I didn't like Alien vs. Predator. I don't like Prometheus.
So, but
Did he just like come back and cut out immediately?
Yeah, he did.
God damn it.
I'm wondering what his settings are for this shit, because he seems to be cutting out a lot, so I'm wondering if it might be something he needs to upgrade or some shit.
Or Google might just be anti-bear.
I'm surprised his Facebook hasn't been hit, because apparently Facebook has a bias against fucking fake characters.
yeah, seems to go on this fit sometimes. He goes in a fit of like cutting me out a bunch, and then it's cool for like a long.
Yeah.
Well, hurry up. Point you were trying to make while you're still here.
What were we talking about? Aliens?
Prometheus.
Why are we talking about that?
We were talking about the Alien films.
yeah, Aliens. My favorite's Aliens.
I only saw that movie once, and I don't remember a whole lot about it.
But you remember it was awesome.
I do remember liking it.
Yeah, it's good.
I didn't like it.
It's so influential on other things. You know what I mean? So much about it. It's been reproduced in other movies, especially cheap movies.
The group of
movies. Yeah.
The movie was heavily ripped off in Doom.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Which I watched the Doom movie again recently, and it really wasn't as bad as I remember. It sucks as a Doom movie, but as just a normal sci-fi fucking monster movie, it's actually pretty good.
But we're still in agreement, though, that they should have just had it from a first-person perspective behind the barrel of a gun with him just saying a bunch of badass shit and just shooting the fuck out of things.
It should have been The Rock, and he should have just been shouting rockisms the whole time.
Only video game fans would like that movie. Everybody else would be like, what the fuck is this?
I would love to see The Rock get a movie where he's allowed to act like The Rock just once. But he's never really gotten to bust out and be the shit-talking master that he used to be. Okay, this is completely off topic. Who's the best shit talker in WWE history?
History, Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper. Okay. I'm gonna have to say Stone Cold.
What?
Are you there? God damn it. I'm gonna have to say Stone Cold. The best full of shit talker is King.
I'd say The Miz.
Oh.
Wow, Teddy is just not staying connected now.
Alright, I'm gonna end the broadcast and then we can just sit here and talk and shit because he keeps on cutting out.
Alright.
Alright, so we'll see you all next time.
Till next time.